your troubles while you're here. Remember, oh, why deep, where'er you roam, sing it until we meet again. Here's wishing you a happy journey home.
Yeah.
Again, it's also just wonderful to be back with Rotary. I've treasured my relationship with Rotary over the years, which goes back throughout my political career, which now goes back more years than I care to remember. There was a time when I think I could honestly say that I had been to every single Rotary in the entire state to talk, to spend time with fellowship, to share my thoughts and to answer questions. Except there was a Rotary that was listed in the directory, and I still remember it. We're going back about 20 years. There was one Rotary out there that I could simply never find, which was Upcountry Maui. I don't know if anybody can find Upcountry Maui today, but I'm still looking for Upcountry Maui Rotary. Before I get into some remarks, and then I'll take questions at the end, so if you could please hold your questions until then, I'll leave plenty of time. I do want to I've introduced my staff here, Kikoa and Nestor, but I want to be clear here that there's lots of information on me and what I'm up to at case.house.gov. That's the entry into my office, my votes, my legislation, my statements, how to get in touch with me, how to visit us in Washington, D.C. That's the entry into my office. I have also left up front here a couple of brochures. This is just a quick kind of business card with some information on my office. And then this is a constituent services guide. Among the many things that I do in Congress, aside from my role as a national leader and my role of helping Hawaii, is helping you with your individual issues. These are primarily federally related, so veterans issues, immigration, Social Security, Medicare, taxes. I can't fix your taxes for you, but I might be able to get an answer for you. Please think about us from a constituent services perspective. By rule, it's a very interesting set of rules for the Problem Solvers Caucus. The first rule is bipartisan. The second rule is equally divided. Third rule is confidential until we decide it's not confidential, so that encourages a free flow of ideas, even very difficult ideas. Number 4, we can't campaign against each other. I can't go out there and campaign or donate money to the Democratic opponent of a Republican member of my Problem Solvers Caucus, even though that's what I should do as a member of the party so that my party can get back into power in Congress, which is the party approach. We agree to take that off the table for the sake of trying to have a democratic discussion and to solve problems. And it has become a very successful caucus because we've taken very, very difficult issues over the last couple of years and actually arrived at solutions that nobody else thought was possible. A couple of years back, maybe 4 years ago, we led the infrastructure bill, which was hopelessly mired in politics, and we found a way through a lot of maze and morass and stories that I'll only tell after me and nobody else is in Congress because they are nefarious in many ways. No, I shouldn't say that, but it's politics. How do we actually enact the bill? And we found a way, because we cooperated with each other on a bipartisan basis, in navigating the way that our leaders, being too polarized politically, could not achieve. That was infrastructure bill resulted in billions of dollars to Hawaii for infrastructure improvements, including this harbor right here, as a matter of fact, which still needs a lot more money, by the way, but it's another story. We worked very hard to avoid a default on our national debt in a debt ceiling fight a couple of years ago. And today, we are deeply involved in some issues that are very controversial. For example, how do we solve our incredible deficit in debt, the fiscal instability of our country? We are involved in trying to find a way forward, speaking of Minnesota and DICE, on immigration. How can we actually have a conversation and agree, listen, act collectively to find a better way forward on immigration? And I'm not going to tell you this is easy. The problem solvers themselves are pulled by these forces of division and polarization. And it doesn't happen automatically. But if you're committed to the basic idea, which I think is a very democratic idea, of listening, respect, acting, disagreement, areas of compromise, you can actually make it work. And so this is an example, at least, of how there is actually some hope on the horizon, that it is happening. It tends to happen very, very low key because we don't really go out there and publicize a whole bunch. We don't want to try to solve problems in the glare of the 1 minute media turn nowadays and in social media. So, I mean, you can check it out. You just go Problem Solvers Caucus online and you can figure out some of the stuff I'm doing. But I just use as an example because sometimes people think it's hopeless. And of course, if it were, then we'd be in really bad shape. But I don't think it's hopeless because I think most people in our country want what I'm talking about. Even if they have very strong political disagreements and political positions, they don't want what we have here today. And so this is one of the ways that we're trying to overcome this in Congress. But I would get back to the basic point. It's not just up to Congress to get us past the hump on this. It's up to all of us in our discussions. I would, for example, this is one way to start. Tomorrow morning when you wake up and you probably have a favorite cable TV show, try the other one. See how it is. You're going to be shocked probably because I can get a polar opposite view of what's actually going on. But try to understand what the other side is actually talking about. I watch all of them. Actually, I don't watch a whole bunch of them because if I did that, then my life would just be hopelessly complicated. Perhaps this is controversial with some of you. First of all, we need to enforce our immigration laws. So I am not in the camp of people that are in this, especially from my party, because they don't believe that we should be enforcing our immigration laws. I don't believe that we should. I think we should try to prevent illegal immigration, and I think we have to have an enforcement mechanism that responds to illegal immigration. The reason we got into the situation we got into to start with was that we weren't preventing illegal immigration, and we really weren't doing a whole bunch about people that were here illegally. We tolerated it for all kinds of reasons. Now we have about 11 million in our country. I don't blame them for wanting a better life, so I'm not going to demonize them, but you have to be able to enforce your laws. That's number one. Number two, how you enforce your laws is important. And I don't think that the way these laws are being enforced in Minnesota is the right way to enforce our laws. Okay.
The previous DHS bill, thank you, by the way, for being here today, Congressman Case. You have a lot of places you can visit while you're in town. Thanks for making time for us.
Thank you.
The previous bill that you did vote for, did it include those guidelines that you just referred to, that the DHS bill funding, that this one did not?
No, I voted against.
No, I know. But
I voted against the Department of Homeland Security bill.
the previous one.
I think I have voted for Department of Homeland Security appropriations bills in the past. So it's not like I'm adverse to DHS, Department of Homeland Security. So I've done it. We do this every year.
Yeah.
And so I have voted for Homeland Security bills in the past. I think the comment I was trying to make was the votes that I had last week and that the Senate has in front of it right now was 6 separate appropriations bills. And I think my comment was I voted for 5 out of those 6, but not for Homeland Security.
Understood. Okay, thank you.
I want to thank you. Every time I write a letter to you, every time I send an email to you, I get an answer the next day. You're an amazing person. Thank you so much.
I live in fear of not doing it one day.
I have
Aloha.
Aloha. Yeah. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
We just wanted to start off with a Olelo kipa to welcome you folks.
Sure.
So, yeah. Pamai kamakani o launi uike ahe ahe o ka olu e kipa mai ka mehana i ka poli o ka aina ni uhele mai. Pai a that depicts the new Helivai River or stream with the coconuts in it, new, moving in the water. All the way to the fish ponds that were at the Kuili Pond, where bull cannery is. So we had starch and protein growing right here in this aina. Something that we emphasize, because people think we're just across the street from Costco, where you get your starch protein today, and you gotta buy it. But before, we had native tenants and other tenants farming, growing food. And so this hale is actually something that we wanted to put up to remind us of this place, using all material gathered from the aina. Mostly here, a fish pond, they're trying to get rid of the mangrove. We don't want to take down native trees anymore because they're threatened, right? So we adapted. It actually even has a sprinkler system for fire to come up to code. It's city permitted, ADA walkway, plug-in for devices, and yeah, it's traditional, moving forward with some modern as well. So we emphasize that with our employees and students, that this is a place that has storied history, lots of Olelo. Haumea used to live in this area. The Kapalama, Aupua is important. The Meme schools above us. Not looking down at us, but just above us. Right, Keiko?
Right. Oh, yeah. I like to get out and about my district and see what's going on. And I've been wanting to come here for years. And it's just one of those, I mean, I've been here before, so this isn't the first time I've been here, but in the last couple of years, I just have always wanted to come and spend a little bit of time here and understand what you all are doing, because we do fund to your programs all the time. So the federal government does a lot of funding that ends up here, whether it's in your Hawaiian programs or obviously Pearl Harbor Naval Shipyard, your apprentice programs. And you just have such an important role in the big picture of what we do here in Hawaii. And I can read about it in Washington, and I can try to help you out from the funding perspective, but it's another thing to actually see it. So I appreciate just the hour or so that I have here to spend with you and kind of absorb it all.
Would you like to say a few words or just be in? You guys know Congressman Ed Case?
Hi, Ed Case from Congress. I'm just checking out what you guys are all up to. So don't mind me too much, but we do fund these programs from the federal government side. So I'm just kind of interested in how they hit the ground. So don't want to interrupt. Go ahead. I also want to just listen to you for a while.
Welcome to the advanced manufacturing.
Huh.
This is the manual side. And let me make sure that I know where Jake is. There he is. We're here. Where is he? So this is an open space, so let's head to the classroom first. And get a little bit of touch.
Did you work
Nice
for
to see you.
Nice to meet you.
You are?
Jake. LeBlanc.
Jake, the famous
Yeah,
Jake.
so he's got a little bit of time, and we're going to kind of move it forward. You want to quickly just introduce what the program is and kind of walk in through the space real quick?
Absolutely. So welcome. This is the Advanced Maritime Training Suite here at HANCC. It's a manufacturing-based program, mainly serving DOW and the maritime industry here in Oahu. So we have currently a 15-week-long course that is focused on inside and outside machining. So this is our classroom space. This is where we do all of our theory, as well as introduce metrology, so advanced precision measurement. And then the majority of the time students are in our course. They're out in the shop space doing hand fabrication techniques, manual machining, and CNC machining. Each cell consists of a manual lathe and a manual mill. The idea is that when students are occupying the space working on their projects, they do not have to wait for machine availability. Whatever they're working on, they have all the tools available for them. They also have a dedicated toolbox full of all the tools they'll need to complete the course. Those are currently getting a little overhaul at the moment. But each cell, comprised of that as well. So the idea is that as students continue to build skill in the manual machining aspect, both in the lathe and the mill, they'll eventually progress enough where they'll move out of this area and then over into the advanced cells on the other side of the room.
There are butterflies here?
They are. There's a cauliflower tree over there.
Oh,
There's
really?
cauliflower,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Once we have access to it, then we'll
Yeah.
some caterpillars. Yes.
No, so nice to see you all. Okay, good to see you. Thank you.
Early childhood program here.
Yes. Very strong quality work.
Okay, bye. You know, I really hadn't thought about the idea that a program could transform an entire campus because it, you know, emanates out of this room and this place out into the entire campus to the trades, and then they take it away. And actually, I was thinking about was, can you come up to Congress and run it in Congress? Maybe?
Can do a workshop for you.
I'm thinking I should take it, actually, to be honest.
It's got reach. You know, it's far and wide, the reach. It comes back. It sits at this campus.
Aloha. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Good to have you. Hi, how's it? Aloha.
Aloha.
How are you all? Aloha.
Cypher.
Ed Case. Alex? Hi.
Howdy again.
Oh, again? Yeah. Aloha. How are you? Yeah.
Berkeley.
Oh, Erica. Aloha. How are you all doing here? Aloha. Aloha again. Yeah. How's it? How are you? Aloha.
Aloha.
Thank you. Thanks. Good to see you. Oh, wow. And I'm from Hilo, born and raised in Hilo, so that's where I'm from. And so I'm kind of an FBI, if anybody knows what that means.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. It does not mean full-blooded Ilocano. From Big Island. And I live in Kaneohe today with my lovely wife, and I've got 4 children and 3 grandchildren and 1 more coming in a few months. So that's my backstory. My family's been here in Hawaii since 1896. So I'm 4th generation, and we've got 6 generations going, except for a couple of those grandchildren do have Native Hawaiian, so they are a lot farther back than 6 generations. So that's a little bit about who I am. I spend more than half my year in Washington, D.C. every year, and so the time I have back at home is precious, and I try to use that to come around and understand what's going on throughout my district. I've been wanting to come to HCC for a long time now to check it out, the the Hawaiian programs, to check out the trade programs, to check out the programs that are related to manufacturing. We've got an incredible mix here. And so this is what I'm doing today. This is what I do when I come home. I try to tell you what I'm up to. I try to listen to what you're up to. I try to answer your questions. And then I take all of that and I go back to Washington, D.C. for a little bit more time. And I try to figure out when I get back to D.C., okay, everything that I learned, how can I help? A lot of that is federal funding because a lot of what you do here, and we'll talk about this today, is funded by the federal government. And so that's my job.
The federal funding has been very, very critical for our faculty and staff. We've had federal funding for the last 10 years, so we mahalo your work on there because it has greatly impacted our faculty and staff to be able, through Ulu's work, be able to integrate culture across campus and across from our administrators, secretaries, some of our grounds to our counselors, our instructors, anyone who is willing to invest their time and commitment to learning about Aina-based education and how to integrate it into counseling, how to integrate it, not understanding that you don't need to teach Hawaiian, but you can teach through the culture. So Ulu, we'll talk more on that a little bit later. But
what can I say? This administration does not agree with these programs, and they believe that they should either be reduced or eliminated. So we're navigating a tough time politically because there's people in our country that don't understand these programs. And they don't understand indigenous peoples, to be honest with you. That's foreign to them. They don't think we should help the indigenous peoples of our country, Native Hawaiians, Alaska Natives, Native Americans. And so it's a tough time right now. We've done okay so far, but the fact that your grant, the grant was eliminated, that's a tragedy from my perspective. So we're going to have to all be really, really smart in terms of how we continue. I think I saw in my prep materials that it's something around the $5 million coming to HCC for Native Hawaiian programs. So,
is now touching windward as far as the professional development.
Correct.
PCT. So we've, what is running has now
Yeah.
created the model that now benefits other community colleges.
Right. So we're going to have to navigate a tough time here. And there's many people, most people in Hawaii support these programs, so most people across our country do too, but we've got what we've got in Washington. So we're going to have to figure out how can we maintain the momentum of the programs and continue to help people with a different mix. Maybe the mix is, for now, a different focus on the federal government, but supplemented with the state, with the nonprofit community, with, some of the Native Hawaiian trusts, et cetera. So, I'm trying to convert what you're telling me into the real world and how we can continue to help here. Aloha. I'm here on the campus of Honolulu Community College, a real treasure in the middle of Honolulu that is doing so much great stuff. I've spent time today with the career and technical assistance folks here, training folks to go into architecture, engineering, construction trades. We've seen some of the most advanced manufacturing training going on really anywhere in our country that is developing people for very, very advanced work for the Department of Defense and for our maritime industries. Spent time with the Hawaiian program here, which is a very, very moving and program that has literally changed lives. Honolulu Community College, one of the great institutions throughout our public education higher learning system, also spent time with the folks that train our Pearl Harbor Naval Shipyard apprentices that go into the next gen of taking care of our most advanced nuclear submarines. And so there's, you can drive by here for many, many years as I did without really realizing what's actually going on here. Of course, one of my reasons for coming here is that we do support many, many of these programs with federal funding straight out of appropriations. Through a number of channels. A lot of it comes through workforce training programs. Definitely we try to fund through our Native Hawaiian federal programs. And then finally, increasingly, the Department of Defense, which has invested about $7 million right here at Honolulu Community College for its own needs in terms of manufacturing of really critical materials for our equipment right here in Hawaii. And so it's a very good example of the tie between the DoD presence and our local industry and keeping this stuff in Hawaii.
The material has absence of any of the interior structure we're familiar with or metal fastenings and everything, so you have to have the certification of that level of structure. And that is, I live on the beach in Waimanalo, and we know what deterioration does to structures. Water, marine environment, that sort of thing penetrates the wood. You get wood rot, you get concrete spalling, you get rust, corrosion and such. So I went to a configuration of housing development that is absent of all wood, absent of all metal, and has about a 200 design line. Basically, it's using fiberglass and concrete in a configuration just like we use on surfboard. Surfboard is a foam core that sets the shape and the configuration you want, and a load-bearing skin wrapped around it. Same thing. We take the surfboard logic and convert it to a house. That's what we've done here.
So in front of us, we have a couple materials that are experimenting the efficacy of biomanufacturing, specifically for military utility. So the first one here is biocement. So you can pick this up and handle it. This is made from a naturally occurring bacteria, S. pasteuri, that has been sprayed over a construction site. You want to turn it into a runway or a parking apron or something similar where you need cement. And so calcium chloride and urea, which is fertilizer and road salt, are thrown on top of the bacteria. Then, over a natural reaction occurs, the bacteria emit an enzyme called urease that interacts to make ammonia and calcium chloride. And so you take the ammonia in the presence of calcium, you get calcium carbonate, and the calcium carbonate is a key resin, binding component to bring soil together.
So I don't know if you can get through here. If you want, you can also follow along with that.
Okay.
If you prefer to have something at hand, but basically We already know waste, electricity are very expensive here, so those are the problems that we're trying to target, but also fertilizer, since it's one of our top costs to our growers. And so we're applying those problems against each other using the Olelo Carbon Project Integrated Process and Technology to create renewable fuels from solid waste, starting with our SMRF, which is the Sustainable Materials Recycling and Fertilizer Facility. So we do call it SMRF for short because it is a bit of a mouthful.
Where is that? I'm sorry.
We're going to be located in Kapolei.
That's in
actually.
Kapolei.
Yeah, if you look down there, it's actually going to be in the James Campbell Industrial Park. So we're basically diverting waste away from residential areas, and we're going to move it to an industrial area to have it processed, so a little more appropriate. We're going to be starting off with the SMRF, which is the first in all of our pipeline of projects, to be followed by the Olelo Carbon Project, which is going to be 10 times the scale of the Olelo Sustainable Materials Recycling and Fertilizer Facility. So we'll be starting with 50 tons per day of construction and demolition waste, and then upscaling to 500 tons per day to manufacture fuels. And so this is just an idea of what the process would look like, starting with the SMRF. We're going to be accepting a variety of different waste materials, C&D debris, poultry manure, green waste, and invasive plant biomass. So we'd actually be able to provide guaranteed certified destruction of invasive plants and pests as well during our process.
Went down this crazy long path, and the whole kind of goal and the dream of this is that I'm a waterman, I'm a big wave surfer. We swam around Maui recently with Epic Swim, and it's all about taking care of the ocean, and the ocean's going to take care of you. And so that's where this whole dream kind of came into place. And I found a lot of stories like Ben where couldn't find a job, had to go to the mainland, learn some skills, and then ideally the dream would be to actually move back. And a lot of those people, they then start a family on the mainland, and you just lost this local person that was here. And so the whole goal of this is to bring innovation, bring technology here with the support of like PIZ and other companies, and to make it possible for people to have a living wage, amazing job that we can actually even bring the kids into early on with innovation programs, to be able to create what we're doing, which is large format additive manufacturing, as well as material compounding locally on an island, using reusable sources like recycling and resourcing plastics, and then biologicals. So
I think we'll start with the end goal in mind, and what our goal in mind, it kind of aligns with my story. It's like I did have to move and learn training and learn how to do business development and all of that. So end goal in mind is to actually bring thousands of jobs back to Hawaii, is to implement these training programs, not only in college or as these electives like mandatory classes in high school. We're actually learning about agriculture, about cultivation, bringing some of those cultural aspects back. Hey, here's how we used to farm, here's what we can use with it. And we can do all this here with our resources. The other piece of it, like Sam said, the environment is very important to us. We both grew up big wave surfing. We can do this, and Sam will get into the how because he's the mad scientist behind it. We can take these plastics out of our landfills. They're completely filling up right now. All of us know that. Take those plastics, teach our kids, and even like professional job training. Here's how we take this out, we shred it, we use our natural resources, including agriculture, and we'll get into all of that, to make things, to create jobs, applications like in marine, military, protect our state, our country. And I'll let the scientists get into it behind that.
yeah, so basically what we've figured out is that in the surfing industry, there's a lot of black magic when it goes into surfboard building, as well as maritime industry boat building. And one of the products, when fiberglass had a shortage back in the 70s and 80s, they actually used basalt fiber to create boats. And so that's where this idea came from, and then got validated very quickly that basalt fiber.
The what fiber?
Basalt. So,
Salt?
Basalt,
Salt.
so lava rock. So basically there's quarries on every island that the waste product is called F4. And you can take F4 and you can melt it down and use a fan, and it'll spread it out and create what is currently what the volcano is spewing out, which is Pele's hair. This is in essence a synthetically made Pele's hair that you infuse with the recycled plastic, which then now rivals carbon fiber, and then it's a quarter of the cost. And it's super strong, but it also has the flexural strength. So this stuff, you can bend it, it'll pop right back. With carbon fiber, you can't do that, it's gonna break. So that's kind of where this whole dream came into fruition, because this is now a caustic maritime material that you don't have to epoxy, you don't have to paint. You could just wash your boat down at the end of the day and be totally fine with it.
are some of the autonomous assets in our growing catalog. But I want to emphasize that while we're putting those ASVs front and center in the presentation, we are in fact not a hardware company, we're a software company. In fact, we treat hardware as the modular component and really focus on the collaborative autonomy that allows unmanned assets to work together as a team to accomplish a range of missions. Over the past 2 years, we just hit our 2-year mark. As a company, we've amassed some pretty significant milestones that we're proud of. More than 15,000 hours of on-water testing. So that's not just with a single asset, a single boat in the water, but 4 to 5 assets working together as a team, kind of in a kind of a swarm idea, all across the world. So we do operations in Hawaii, we've done it in California, the Gulf Coast, Europe. So we've had a massive range of environments that we've worked in. We have produced more than 80 vessels and sold almost half of them to the department, which we're really proud of, including here USERPAC in the last couple of weeks. But perhaps most importantly, we're totally platform agnostic and vendor agnostic. So you saw here, PACMAR gave a great presentation. PACMAR is our very first partner, our best partner. They produce amazing hardware, and we've paired kind of our autonomy expertise with their hardware expertise.
Many of you here today have been part of those conversations around focusing on what we refer to as commercial first and defense ready applications. We're going to get into a fireside chat in this very topic. We're very honored to host leaders from Indo-Pacific Command, Dr. Blake von Fonestott, JD5, George Yarbrough, who represents both the city and the state, to share their thoughts with you. But first, it is my very distinct pleasure to introduce Congressman Case, who represents Hawaii's 1st Congressional District, been long engaged in issues affecting the Indo-Pacific, economic development, and Hawaii's role in long-term resilience. Congressman Case, thank you for taking the time to be with us. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you so much, Kevin, and thank you to all of you for joining us here this morning. Thank you to the people that I just talked story with outside there. That was pretty awesome to see that happening in just one place here in Hawaii. That's obviously all of what we're trying to accomplish right here in Hawaii. And you know, if I was to say one thing up front, it's just that the opportunities are wide in front of us right now for a lot of different reasons. After decades of talking about better synergies between defense and our local industries and our local workforce training and keeping jobs and defense money here in Hawaii, for a lot of different reasons, that's lining up very, very well right now. And so we need to seize the opportunity together, which is one of the things I'd like to get across right here is I don't want to talk for an hour. I'd like to listen and to answer some questions and to have an exchange, because the partnership between Congress, the private sector, DOD, and the state and county government partners, it's really important that we get that right to seize this opportunity well. First of all, I just want to tell you a little bit about who I am, because I think it's important for you to know where I enter into your space and where I can help you. So this is about trying to help wherever I can. So aside from being the member of Congress from Hawaii's 1st Congressional District, I most directly serve on the Appropriations Committee in Congress, which I think you're all familiar with appropriations. It's the one committee in the United States House that cuts across all of the areas of government, every area of government. We're in the middle of it right now, as you well know, in the Senate, trying to pass some appropriations bills. I also serve, because we split the Appropriations Committee, because we have the portfolio across all of government. We have subcommittees, and we break it out into subcommittees. And I'm on 2 subcommittees that are directly relevant to what we're talking about here. The most important subcommittee I'm on is Defense Appropriations. So the Defense Appropriations Subcommittee, there's about, I think, 17 of us out of 435. So it's a very, very small subcommittee relative to the fact that we have half of the federal budget, all of the defense, all of the intelligence community. That's our kuleana. And with funding, of course, comes oversight. And so I probably spend half of my total legislative time in DC on defense appropes. And that is my focus, that's my expertise, that's where I am expected by my colleagues and others to lead Congress, along with some very good other people. And by the way, quite nonpartisan on defense appropriations, despite what you all see. Ken Calvert from California is the current chair of our Defense Appropriations subcommittee, great partner, great ally. Spent a lot of time educating him on the Indo-Pacific, successfully, I think. The other subcommittee I have, by the way, is the Department of Homeland Security, which is a little bit in the news nowadays. But there's a heck of a lot that we do through Homeland Security that is also directly relevant to what you are all up to. For example, Homeland Security has all of the United States Coast Guard. And the Coast Guard has a lot more money than you think it does for a lot of different things right now. And so I would encourage you to think about the Coast Guard as well while you're busy, thinking about the defense side of things. And in the context of my stuff on defense appropriations, I intersect with a lot of the pieces of the pie that we are all interested in making sure come together in a very cohesive, very coordinated defense against our pacing challenge, which is the PRC, but not just the PRC. We've got bad actors around the world, and we recognize that, and the situation is getting more tense, not less tense. And so, as Admiral Paparo always says, defense is the best way to defense and deterrence is the best way to avoid wars and conflicts, and we have plans for how to do that. And what you are all up to right here is directly relevant to those plans. How do we collectively deliver to our defense, national defense, all aspects of our national defense, not just the Department of Defense, but the Coast Guard and the other parts of government? How do we all deliver to them what they need at speed, at scale, and yes, at expense also, because we obviously have to worry about a defense budget that's now $850 billion a year. Again, half of our total federal budget. And so I just tell you some of the things I've done just in the last couple of months that relate to a lot of what you're doing. And so as I'm going through listening to what people are presenting to me, and hopefully what you'll tell me here today, I'm trying to sync it up with a lot of other things going on. We are in the middle of a revolution in defense innovation and procurement here that's been going on for a little bit of time, but is picking up speed at the moment. We are getting out of the mindset of the Defense Department designing, researching, developing, procuring, and just giving industry a set of plans, and who can build this set of plans, cheapest is going to get the job. No, you all know this better than me. We're doing a couple of things. First of all, it's far more about here's the need. How do you apply your innovative thoughts in the private sector to deliver on that need? And you're probably going to come up with a better idea sometimes. We obviously still run it, quote unquote, the old way. It's very hard to get way off innovative on how you build an aircraft carrier or a Columbia-class submarine. How do we procure with more flexibility? How do we break down some of the procurement barriers that do a couple of things? First of all, they're too rigid, they're too slow, they're too expensive, and frankly, they favor the insiders that know how to work that system. And so how do we break those down to add a little bit more flexibility, to open up procurement, to procure R&D especially, but also production at scale faster? And this is being driven both by Congress. Congress has come out with, in our recent National Defense Authorization Act, which is our annual defense authorization, which pairs up with appropriations. I'm an appropriator, so we always like to say to the people that do the NDAA, hey, great idea. We'll figure out whether to fund your idea or not. So I'm a jealous appropriator. But we have to work together very well. And they've come out with some very innovative and creative, we have passed some procurement stuff. At the same time, the Secretary has come out with reforms inside the Pentagon that are trying to sync up with us. So these create a little bit more of the private sector innovation model and bring it into defense on a number of areas. I try to support DIU wherever I can. A couple of weeks ago, I was at Naval Undersea Warfare Center in Washington, where they're doing cutting edge stuff using the private sector, partnering with the private sector. Been to the Reagan Defense Forum, which was kind of a traditional round up the biggest contractors and we'll all get together and talk. And that has, if any of you have been, that's really morphed into far more of an advanced or diverse group. And some of the, in fact, it's so funny because some of the companies that were just kind of hanging there 10 years ago being innovators, they're now the principal sponsors of the Reagan Defense Forum, so that'll show you what can happen there. I'm about to go, I've been to the Creative Disruptors Conference, which is a very interesting one. I don't know if any of you have heard about it, but it's a conference that's set up by a bunch of people, including a bunch of private sector companies that want to disrupt the defense innovation and procurement space. And they're being very successful, and the department participates in it. So I'm about to go to that again in a few weeks. That's going to be in California. Yesterday, I was at Honolulu Community College to check out their advanced manufacturing stuff that they're doing. And actually, I was talking to somebody earlier that I was a little surprised that they didn't know about what HCC is doing in this space, because you all should know what HCC is doing. It's a good opportunity to think about areas to sync up with. I'm on something called the Defense Innovation Caucus in Congress, and that is what it sounds like. It's a couple of us that decided we needed to innovate in the defense procurement and R&D space, and so we are active in this area. Thank you for having me. Sorry to be late.
What the permits were.
Oh.
So interesting. We just got our certificate of occupancy
today.
Really?
Oh,
They
whoa,
knew you were
how?
coming. They knew you were coming.
I didn't know I had so much pull.
So they're like, Rep Gage is coming. Get it in, get it in.
So we can occupy now.
We can occupy. Here we'll have 2 machines. We'll have 100% penetration of automated technology, which means that we shrank the blood bank, manufacturing bank, and put it right in that machine. So basically, you can donate a pint of whole blood, and we take that, and I'll show you how we manually spin it down, separate it. This technology shrank that technology down, put it inside the machine. So kind of like a dialysis machine. So a donor sits on a chair, we put an IV in, and they sit, they watch a movie. So we've got Netflix, and then while the movie's going, they're donating, and whatever the patients need today, we take that and we give them back what patients don't need today. And it's all very smooth. They feel great, and then they leave. So we can...
What do you mean by that? What they need today, you give it back to them?
So right now, blood has the red cells that carries oxygen. It has plasma that helps clot, and it has platelets that help clot. So it might be that we have a new leukemic, or 3 new leukemics at Queens. They need platelets.
Oh, I see. So not the person giving it, whatever you need the blood for.
Exactly.
Okay, I was like, what do you give back to somebody that's giving blood?
Yes, and then, so it's all happening in a closed system, all sterile in that machine. And whatever's not taken actually goes back into the donor.
Oh.
Yeah, so it actually...
You wouldn't want the rest of it for some other storage purpose?
Well, we actually want to maximize what we can take. So, so really we try to take as much as the donors can donate.
Right.
One of the reasons we're so excited about moving west is 2. One is donors. To give access to donors who, many of them just, they don't even have cars, so they can't go in there. And so one is to give them access to participate. And the second is we have the largest repository of rare blood in the United States from Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islanders, Filipinos. And we don't have enough of that. We're constantly getting requests. And so I think moving out here, we're going to be focused towards minority donations. And it'll give us...
So there's different ethnic-based rare blood categories?
That's right. There are. I mean, there's A, B, and O. That's normal. But then the patients who have a rare blood type, sometimes it's not enough to be exposed to A, B, and O. There are other blood types. And
I just never knew that those rare bloods actually further differentiated into ethnicity.
They absolutely do. So, you know, if you're from Scandinavian and you may have a rare blood type, you probably want to get blood from Minnesota.
Yeah.
But for us, it's our demographic, it's best that the donor makeup matches the recipient makeup. And on the mainland, as you know, there are many areas in the South where a lot of patients with sickle cell and thalassemia are African American.
Right.
The donor base is white.
Right.
Was frozen. Well, this is ultra frozen. So these are actually, I think it's those are -80. And so they're ultra low freezers, and they're meant to be able to store frozen rare blood for up to 10 years. We have special equipment that has to freeze it in a special liquid so that they don't burst. And then once they're needed, we take them out, thaw them gently, and then also take them through a special equipment to wash it. And then we could send it to the hospital. So we get requests all the time, all over the United States. And what we say is, our sons and daughters go to college on the mainland, and some of them relocate to the mainland. So.
With you, yeah, it did, yeah. So this was my very first community project funding request. No, this was the very first batch. And so I've been tracking you all these years.
Yes.
So it's so cool to actually see it come to fruition and see it open up. It's very gratifying, and actually it's a very good example of how government should work, because this was us meeting, and
That's right.
I forget when it was, maybe 2021, is that right? 2022 maybe?
2021, yes.
And that was the very first year that we reopened
That's right.
what we used to call earmarks, which we don't call them anymore because it's a bad word, but that's what they are. It's congressionally directed funding, so it's like a straight shot from me through the appropriations, but you still have to track it. So I had about 15 that year, and they were all approved, and this was the first one. So it's really cool to kind of see it happen.
Super cool.
Yeah.
And to see it realized and the vision from beginning to end.
It's cool. Very, very cool.
You know, most blood bank professionals would only dream of having the opportunity to build a new home and to make that vision and execute it. So I'm so fortunate to have your advocacy and to help make this vision possible.
Yeah, great. All right, well, we will check in from time to time, and please let us know how it's going. It's feel like I have a piece of it right now somewhere.
You absolutely do.
At least one of those machines.
Nice.
I haven't, this is the first time I've been here. Okay. Yeah, I haven't been to your other campus for a while.
Yeah.
And so when I told my staff, hey, I haven't been there for a while, you know, and I didn't specify which one, but they picked the right one, you know, because I just never been here before.
Yeah, we love showing it off. It's still pretty shiny.
Yeah, so yeah, opened in May of 23, so just a couple of years old now. This was, the land was originally donated to us by D.R. Horton as part of their Hope Healy development.
It was right there,
back in 2015, yes, you can see right on the horizon.
Yeah.
And we've been able to watch through their growth as well, and they have houses all the way over that way now. So that's been fun, and they will develop and bring it all the way to us at some point in the future. Membership based, but no fee membership. We just want to make sure animals are vaccinated. We keep humans and pets safe and healthy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Do people use it?
We do. Yeah, we actually have some folks over there right now, despite the rain, which is great.
Hey, dogs got to get out whether it's raining or not.
It's great. Yeah, we do want to get started. So yeah, it's interesting. So as we've become more embedded in this community, we've obviously gotten a lot more interested. Oh look, there's animals.
That tends to happen on tours.
How y'all doing today?
Really wanted to make this space warm and welcoming, and very, park-like. So we do have a lot of folks that have engaged with us that they'll come back and just have lunch over here, or come back and sit with the cats, which is fantastic. So it's really become that community-centered space that we wanted it to be, which is really nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Shall we go check it out?
Yeah.
Hello.
So we have a couple of our rooms are just open community spaces, so multiple cats living together in one area. And then we do have one room in each pavilion where it's cages. So these are cats that we're monitoring ins and outs. Maybe they're recovering from a surgical procedure, or they just don't like the company of other cats, so they're able to be housed separately in this space. But it's nice, it's open air for everyone, which is really important. It helps to reduce disease transmission, and it provides a lot of natural enrichment for them.
And the windows, I love the windows for that.
Yeah. 70% stray animals coming in, either through the general public or our officers, and then the rest would be owner surrenders, and a very small number of transferred in. Yeah.
Transfers.
From other organizations.
Oh.
Yeah. Smaller rescue groups or other items, shelters.
Cool.
All different kinds of dogs, different ages, different breeds, different medical conditions, different.
Oh wow, you got action, huh? Oh, how you doing?
You're coming out.
How you doing, huh?
Big dress. Oh, look at that.
How you doing? Doing okay?
Pretty content. Nervous up there, buddy. Yeah.
What's not to be content about?
Oh, she's very cute.
Oh, you got it. I'm sorry. Oh, look at the ear.
What are you doing? Please toss a treat when I'm relaxed and quiet. Are you relaxed and quiet? Oh,
good job.
can I toss a treat?
Oh yeah, please do. He is relaxed and quiet.
Okay, you relaxed and quiet now? Wow, good job. Great. Oh.
And they go in, we've actually really expanded our relationship with Veterans Affairs, so we go into a lot of veterans facilities, senior centers, schools, hospitals, nursing homes, just to bring that joy, It's a great program.
And how does that actually work here with VA? Does VA call you and say, can you?
Yeah, so it goes either way. Sometimes we'll do outreach or we'll meet someone at an event, but we always go and do a site inspection wherever they want our teams to go to make sure that it's going to be safe for everyone. And then they let us know kind of what sort of a schedule they want, and we reach out to our volunteers and ask if anyone's interested.
Holding area. So this is the largest dog holding space we have on this campus.
So these are all recent.
So some of these guys is working, our behavior team's working with him. Hi, Billy. He came in pretty recently, just on a 30 seconds.
Pretty hard to imagine that's not an abandoned dog, right?
Exactly.
It's not like it wasn't born out in the wild.
No, and a lot of these they're so friendly and nice, and for whatever reason, people don't come look for them, or I know, or we do have some folks that come in that they say it's a lost animal that they found, but we know it's actually theirs, but they don't feel bad, and they don't want to feel judged by having to bring them in, or they don't want to have to pay any kind of fee, things like that. That doesn't happen that often, but it does happen.
You get just a box left on your front door.
Yeah. We came in, we've come in a couple times where people have put dogs over the fence, and so they're just running around in the parking lot. And then I think it was last week, we had a box of kittens left out front. So we see a pretty high volume of animals coming in. So dogs in particular, there's a dog on each side of this kennel. Ideally, we can open up the whole run for them, but because we just have so many, they have to share the space. So cute. Hey, kitty.
Flight risk.
Yeah, is that true? It is, isn't it? You're a pun.
There, get this one. Are you a flight risk? I mean, how does that get determined? Like they actually.
Usually, how that gets thrown on a kennel door is because every time we open the door, they're trying to get out. I mean, right now, yes, not in the
Because
summer.
it's lower.
Yeah, it's lower. So we really rely on people coming in to adopt, folks coming into foster. Our foster numbers increase dramatically in the summer as well. So having more foster homes really helps us save so many more animals because that's another alternative for that animal to be in while they're waiting on different things, right? Waiting to grow, like Steph was sharing earlier. Fostering young animals until they get big enough so they can have surgery, or just waiting for space in the shelter. We do a lot of that in the summer. Just folks helping us out until there's space for them to become, and sit on the adoption floor and find their families.
It's also really great socialization and stress relief for the animal to get out of the shelter and be in a foster home.
Yeah.
So Dr. Gans was doing surgery earlier, but we are all done now. You can see we've got 3 surgical tables in our operating room over here, and so we keep our doctors pretty busy every day. And then we have a couple.
Are they
of people.
full-time doctors?
They are full-time. Yeah, and we have
How many?
relief. We have 5 full-time doctors, and then we have quite a bit of relief veterinarians that come in as we need different support.
Do you do internships, that kind of thing, for veterinary doctors?
Yeah, we actually have a 4th-year veterinary student starting next week. She's actually in school in Australia, but she's going to be with us for a couple of weeks, and then we have another veterinary student who's at Oregon State. He's in his 4th year. He's going to come spend 3 weeks with us end of February, beginning of March, and then we have a couple more scheduled out throughout the year. So yeah, it's a great opportunity for students to get some experience.
Why only a couple of weeks as opposed to a year?
Usually, these are externships, so they're still within their clinical year of veterinary school, so they usually only have a couple week rotations for these, so that's why that is. We would love to build up a year-long internship program, but we're probably...
Is there such a thing? I mean, do you have to be an intern after you get out of vet?
You don't have to.
You can go straight out and get your license?
Yep, so you can go straight out and get your license, start practicing immediately. There is no next step unless you want to take a next step. There are a lot of veterinarians that they graduate and they do want an internship where they're getting a lot more mentorship than you would if you're just practicing.
And just a lot more, just here, you'd just be constant,
oh my gosh,
right?
Yes, yeah. So this is any shelter really is such a great environment for learning because we do literally see everything.